Good morning and welcome to St John the Baptist Church in Great Amwell in Hertfordshire. We're here to visit the final resting place of someone that might not be familiar to everyone, but for anyone that's watched the film Chariots of Fire, they'll know exactly who I'm talking about, and that is Harold Abrahams. Harold Abrahams was an Olympic runner. He didn't have a lot of luck with women, as you'll hear, but he did quite well with his running, I think he won a gold medal. I've got the village stocks just here behind me. But anyway, this is a beautiful old churchyard, so I'll spin you around, even though it's wet, horrible. I've got my wellies on, so lesson learnt. No more wet feet today. But I'll spin you around, we'll have a look around this lovely old churchyard while I tell you a little bit about Harold Abrahams.
Harold was born in Bedford in 1899. His eldest brother was the physician Sir Adolph Abrahams, the founder of British sport medicine. His middle brother was another British Olympic athlete, long jumper Sir Sidney Abrahams. Abrahams attended Bedford School, Repton School, and then Gonville and Caius College, Cambridge, from 1919 to 1923. Before attending university, Abraham served as a lieutenant in the British Army. He afterwards trained as a lawyer. At Cambridge, he was a member of the Cambridge University Athletics Club, of which he was president 1922 to 1923. Abrahams was also a member of the Achilles Club, a track and field club formed in 1920 by and for past and present representatives of Oxford and Cambridge universities. One of the club's founding members was Evelyn Montague, who, like Abrahams, is also portrayed in the 1981 film Chariots of Fire. A sprinter and long jumper since his youth, he continued to compete in running while at Cambridge. Abrahams earned a place in the 1920 Olympic team, but was eliminated in the quarter-finals of both the 100 metres and 200 metres, and finished 20th in the long jump. He was also part of the British relay team, which took 4th place in the 4x100 metres. Although Abrahams dominated British long jump and sprint events after graduating from Cambridge, he employed Sam Musabini, a professional coach who improved his style and training techniques in preparation for the 1924 Olympics in Paris, France. For 6 months, Musabini emphasised the 100 metres at Abrahams' direction, with the 200 metres as secondary. Through vigorous training, Abrahams perfected his start, stride and form. 1 month before the 1924 Games, Abrahams set the English record in the long jump, 24 feet 2.5 inches, a record which stood for the next 32 years. The same day he ran the 100-yard dash in 9.6 seconds, but the time was not submitted as a record because the track was on a slight downhill. At the 1924 Summer Games, Abrahams won the 100 metres in a time of 10.6 seconds, beating all the American favourites, including the 1920 gold medal winner Charlie Paddock. In third place was Arthur Porritt, later Governor-General of New Zealand and Queen's Surgeon. The Paris Olympics 100 metres dash took place at 7 p.m. on the 7th of July 1924, and Abrahams and Porritt dined together at 7 p.m. on the 7th of July every year thereafter until Abraham's death in 1978. Teammate Eric Liddell, the British 100-yard dash record holder at that time, declined to compete in the Paris 100 metres because one of the heats for the event was held on a Sunday. Both Liddell and Abrahams competed in the final of the 200-metre race, with Liddell finishing third and Abrahams sixth. Liddell went on to win the gold medal in the 400 metres. Abrahams was the opening runner for the British 4x100 metre team, which won the silver medal. He did not compete in the long jump. In 1928, he was team captain of the British Olympic team at Amsterdam and editor of the official British Olympic report for the same games. Subsequently, he worked as an athletics journalist for 40 years, becoming a commentator on the sports for BBC Radio. In 1936, when the Amateur Athletic Union considered a boycott of Hitler's Olympics, Abrahams successfully led the fight against doing so. While the influential Avery Brundage minimised the scope of the Third Reich's prosecution of Jews, Abrahams instead argued on pragmatic grounds, "I do not believe that any real good will come of this resolution is adopted. On the contrary, I believe that it will do harm." He went on to report from the Berlin Olympics for the BBC, exuberantly covering Jack Lovelock's win in the 1500 metres. His daughter reported that Abrahams had sat close to Hitler and had said afterwards, "I wish I'd shot him." Although not an official timer, Abrahams was present when Rogers Bannister broke the 4-minute mile in 1954. While at Cambridge, Abrahams was romantically involved with the seriously academic Christina MacLeod, Innes, and they became informally engaged, but their relationship waned and ended as Abrahams began focusing exclusively on his athletics and the Olympics. In early 1934 he met opera singer Sybil Evers, and they began a passionate on and off romance. According to his biographer Mark Ryan, Abrahams had a fear of commitment and old-fashioned ideas about the role of women in marriage, but he was able to overcome these, and the couple wed in December 1936. In the film Chariots of Fire, Abrahams is instead depicted as dating Sybil Gordon, portrayed by Alice Krige, and the film portrays the couple as meeting a decade earlier than he and Evers actually did. Abrahams cut a strip of gold off his Olympic medal to make the bridal wedding ring. Both the medal and the ring, following Sybil's death, were later stolen on separate occasions. Sybil Evers could not have children, so they adopted an 8-week-old boy, Alan, in 1942, and a nearly 3-year-old girl, Susan, in 1946. Susan later married the formerly imprisoned anti-nuclear activist Pat Pottle, with whom she had 2 sons. During the Nazi regime and war, the couple also fostered 2 Jewish refugees, a German boy called Ken Gardner, born Kurt Katzenstein, and an Austrian girl named Minka. Sybil Evers died in 1963 at the age of 59. Abrahams died in Enfield on the 14th of January 1978, aged 78. He was buried in the same grave as his wife, Sybil Evers, in St John the Baptist churchyard in Great Amwell, Hertfordshire, which is where we are today.
Well, that's all the information I could get on Harold Abrahams. But I've watched the film once, many years ago. I can't remember too much about it. I can't remember who starred in it. But it was all about his life, so... Right, his final resting place is just up there ahead, so I'll spin you around and we'll go and have a look at it together. Right, it's just up here. Now, I have heard that a lot of people actually make a pilgrimage to come and see this grave. Very popular, probably the most popular grave in this churchyard. Right, it should just be over here. I did actually see it this morning. Right, let's have a look. Yes, there it is. It's another one of these old ones. But here you go. This is the final resting place of Harold Abrahams. Sybil Abrahams, 19th of June 1904 to the 24th of June 1963, RIP. Harold M. Abrahams, 15th of December 1899 to the 14th of January 1978. There's a lot of pebbles that people have left on top. Obviously, it does get a lot of visitors. But that is the final resting place of Harold Abrahams. Well, that was the final resting place of Harold Abrahams. And that is the end of another video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's absolutely awful in here underfoot. Sloppy, absolutely disgusting. But I do enjoy coming out to these cemeteries. They're so peaceful. I don't know if you've actually seen the church actually. Let's have a look. Spin you around. There's a church behind me. Lovely little church. Typical little village church. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. It does help the channel to grow. And if you like the content, then maybe consider subscribing. And if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you will be notified whenever I upload a new video, which is usually on a Sunday evening at 7 o'clock British time. Well, that is it for now. I will see you on the next one. So thank you also very, very much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye for now.